Welcome back to another episode of the Sports Mixtape. Here's what we got on tap for you today. Big moves going on in the NFL right now. Wow. We've had trades, we've had free agency, a lot of different familiar faces in new places. We're also going to be doing some March Madness, top 5 moments from March Madness history in the NCAA tourney. We're going to be talking a little golf finally. The weather's starting to shift.
Feels like golf weather.
You can see the flowers wanting to bloom.
'Tis the season.
We've got the unofficial major coming up this weekend, the Players Championship, one of the coolest golf courses, most iconic holes. We're going to be giving you a little preview there, and then we'll be wrapping it up with our roundup, some World Baseball Classic, a little basketball, big NFL offseason stuff. I think the first thing we got to talk about is the pump fake, right? Max Crosby traded 2 first-round picks to the Ravens. Not so fast. The trade gets nixed because of medical concerns. Ravens end up signing in-division rival Trey Hendrickson. What do you guys think?
I am always curious.
So I wrote a lot of my notes down a couple days ago before all this happened. So my notes on this were Crosby dealt to the Ravens. Looks like Vegas won this one. Alleviated $59 million in cap space. Also gaining 2 first-round picks.
Yeah.
Setting up Mendoza, it's great. They may not even come close to making the playoffs this year, but to get some young guys who you draft, who you want to really set up Mendoza's future would be huge. So now where does he go?
It's going to be interesting to see. I don't know how happy he is in Vegas. And I love Max Crosby.
Yeah.
The dude, he plays the majority of snaps. That guy is out there for probably 95% of snaps. I loved how when the Raiders were trying to tank and were saying he was injured, he was like, no, he's out here playing basketball and doing this stuff. He didn't want to sit out. You got to love that as like a leader on your team. He brings juice to the locker room. But it's rare that you see the player for 2 first-round picks ever really pan out for the team getting the player. It's usually the team that gets the picks ends up making out.
Much better deal for,
And the Ravens regrouped. They ended up with Trey Hendrickson. I know he's a little bit older, but he's been pretty solid year in and year out. Jimmy, let's talk about the Jets.
Congratulations on a new quarterback.
I'll take him for a year. The worst possible thing for a struggling franchise would be to sign a guy who, Tua? Kyler Murray or Tua, or any of these guys. They're not winners.
Or watch a guy that you drafted win a Super Bowl.
Well, how many teams do that? Probably a lot. But unfortunately, we can't get Darnold. But, this is what you do. You bring a guy in. You get him for cheap. You put him on a 2-year deal. You say, here, go out there, play for us. They completely loaded up on defense. Got probably top 5 cornerback safety in Micah Fitzpatrick from the Dolphins. Yeah. They got a bunch of edge rushers, defensive linemen. So to me, this whole thing for the Jets, Geno Smith is just he's a side piece, really. He's just in there. And hopefully he loses enough games for us to get a high pick. But I actually like what the Jets are doing. And it is crazy, though. Geno Smith, I did not have that on my bingo card.
I heard...
Even when I knew he was getting released, but I did not think he would come back.
I can't take credit for it, but I heard someone say Geno Smith got the Seahawks Sam Darnold, the Raiders Mendoza, and he's going to get the Jets Arch Manning.
I hope so. That would be ideal. But
now let's go to the other team in New York that one of us roots for. It was a bit of an under-the-radar move, but Brad, what do you think about the Giants getting tight end Isaiah Likely? Another weapon for Darnold.
It's likely not going to work out like the last few tight ends that we've reached for. No, I do like Likely a lot. I picked him up on my fantasy team a couple years ago when Andrews got hurt for a couple games, and he stepped up. He's already used to Harbaugh in the coaching world. I could see him getting chemistry with Dart. So I did want to say a couple of the Giants' needs right now, offensive line specifically. It has been for years. And I was going to talk about Spencer Fano from Utah is one that we could have been eyeing up for our number 5 pick. And then we went and re-signed our right tackle. So I was kind of hopeful of getting Fano this year, just to solidify that run game, because it looks like the Giants are still interested in bringing in another elite rusher to go along with Scattaboo. And then wide receiver-wise, we want to get Neighbors a complimentary number 2. And I was thinking, well, wait a minute. Wan'Dale Robinson, he's a great number 2.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. We let him walk over to the Titans.
Yeah.
Big money for him, too.
Dayball's just poaching dudes.
4 years, $78 million for Wan'Dale. That's crazy for a guy.
And there's no way the Giants would pay him as a number 2 like that.
This is a great pickup for Cam Ward. You have a possession receiver. You get a guy who's going to catch a lot of passes. He's like a security blanket. And I think when you're developing a quarterback, having a guy like that who's familiar with Dayball's system, I think this is an underrated move. Again, the price tag to me was a little hefty, a little questionable. He's getting paid like a wide receiver, 1B.
Yeah.
And your Giants did sign a linebacker, Tremaine Edwards.
So that's what I was going to say. The next question, what we need is a inside linebacker and like a captain of the defense, right? So I have in mind, hey, 5th pick, let's go after Sonny Styles from Ohio State. Young guy who'd be a great addition.
Tremaine Edwards.
A veteran of the league. He still has some juice.
He's a good player.
And a really, a leader of the defense. So it'd be good to have a captain in there in that linebacker position. So it's like, I have no clue what the Giants are going to do now with that draft pick. It's kind of, they could go any route and just stack.
I think that's what you want, though. I think that's
options.
A lot of teams. If you could use free agency to fill some of these holes, then you could go and get the guy that you want in the draft.
Or next best up, whoever's still on the board. And just
Now
we also got. Sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead.
We also I think are bringing in the center from Baltimore. We brought in the punter from Baltimore.
You're not bringing in
Linderbaum signed to the Raiders.
He did.
And he reset
3 years, $81 million.
Reset the market for centers. $81
So that was news to me now.
Crazy.
But we did get the punter.
Hold on real quick. Just sidebar. That's a huge move for the Raiders. They're already trying to protect Mendoza. How many times do we see these teams get a young quarterback and they can't take care of him? And then he ends up seeing ghosts, or he ends up gunshot, or he ends up like remember David Carr years ago with the Texans? Record time sacked. I think when a quarterback, when that internal clock gets sped up so much. So I think it's awesome to see that the Raiders are already trying to invest in the offensive line. With the assumption that they're going to take Mendoza with that top pick.
I mean, they made a bunch of moves. That was probably biggest one, but
I'm happy so far with what the Giants have done.
I was going to say, your Eagles.
Big cornerback pickup. Quinyon Mitchell is going to have a complimentary piece on the other side of the field. We poached the Super Bowl champ from the Seahawks.
He's good.
I think this was a good move for Philly.
They did lose Kobe Dean, is that? I can't remember. One of the good players on your defense. He did sign with someone else.
And I'm excited because Philly drafts so well every year. That's one thing Howie Roseman has down.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what's going to happen with A.J. Brown, if they try to end up moving him, if he maybe ends up in New England, reunited with Vrabel.
Yep.
But you know what was really interesting to me, guys? We got a lot of running backs changing teams this offseason. So let me just rattle off a few, and then I want to hear you guys riff on it. We had the initial trade, the Texans trading for David Montgomery, a 28-year-old. I was a little curious by that one. And what I think you have to watch out for, a guy like David Montgomery, not great before he got to the Lions, really popped on the Lions under Dan Campbell and that awesome offensive line. And who was it a couple years ago? It was Jamal Williams. Remember, he was the running back in Detroit, went to the Saints, didn't find the same level of success. That Houston O-line is nowhere near Detroit's O-line, so that's one to watch out for. We also have the Chiefs picking up Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker
They needed a good running back.
Huge.
And that's an interesting pickup.
When's the last dominant running back the Chiefs have had? They've always run like a weird package with running backs.
That's a great point. I would say probably Charles.
Charles
years ago, and that was before the current Chiefs era and dynasty. Some other running backs in new places. Rico Dowdle going to get a chance to shine there in Pittsburgh. The Steelers signed him. When Hubbard was hurt last season, this guy looked like a legitimate running back.
I'm surprised the Panthers didn't. Maybe they tried to re-sign him, but I thought he was a big piece to their success last year.
Huge. And then another guy that had under the radar, very solid year last year. Travis Etienne Jr. ended up in New Orleans with the Saints, 4 years, $52 million. I think Jacksonville's going to end up missing him.
They needed that because Alvin Kamara is kind of like a shell of himself now.
Yeah.
And they didn't really use him last year, which is crazy. But
We had another one, though, Pacheco.
Yeah.
Ended up in Detroit.
Yep.
Montgomery's replacement.
Very interesting.
So fantasy fans out there, he's going to poach a lot from Gibbs.
Yeah.
We also had one of my favorites from when he was with Philly. He was the third down back, Kenneth Gainwell, who had a really nice year in Pittsburgh last year, ended up signing with Tampa Bay.
Yep. Yeah.
So we also had some wide receivers in new places, right?
Yeah,
so
Bills
go out and trade for DJ Moore. Gave up a second-round pick. I'm going to make the argument for Moore. He's never had a truly elite quarterback in all of his time when he was meddling in Carolina, and then he ends up on Chicago. Caleb had a decent year last year, but they never seemed to have like good chemistry.
I think he has a good year next year. I think Josh Allen is going to really target him on these deep shots next year.
And we've talked about it all podcast long since we've gotten this show started. Buffalo needs a legit receiver for Allen. I don't know that Moore is a 1A, but this certainly is a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
You get him a guy who Moore is great after the catch too. So you get him the ball in space.
I mean, they're a run-first team anyway, so I don't think you need to break the bank on a true elite number one. I think Moore is a perfect guy there.
Big re-signing for the Colts. They kept Alec Pierce in-house. That dude is a baller.
Yeah.
4 years, $116 million. He's a guy, most people think of him as like a stretch the field deep threat, but he can get open at every level. And that guy is a legitimate wide receiver. I think that was a great move. Even though the Colts lost Pittman, they had to make sure keeping Pierce in-house was big.
He knew what he was doing. He was like, let me test out free agency.
Would you see Sauce campaigning for him?
Yeah,
Sauce wanted him back there.
He was never going to leave. He knew that the Colts had made a decision and they weren't going to let him walk. And speaking of which, they traded away their other big receiver. Michael Pittman traded the Steelers. 3 years, $60 million.
You think the Steelers?
Who's the Steelers quarterback?
Dude, do you think the Steelers are still kicking themselves for giving up Pickens?
I mean, you'd love to have him back. Everyone knew he was a talented receiver, but he did have some issues in Pittsburgh.
No one to throw to him.
Yeah, that was his issue.
Another one, Mike Evans.
Huge.
Now, it's like, does this guy have a will to start tearing hamstrings on the regular?
Going out to that facility.
To the nuclear power plant.
That practice, that's a great point.
I mean, look, Mike Evans, he's still great, and
here's the two things Evans gives you. A veteran presence in the locker room, and he's still a red zone threat. Even if he's hobbled, his size, his ability to almost box out defenders.
I had him on my couple-day-old notes here of the Giants needing to go after a receiver, and it was either drafting Carnell Tate from Ohio State or do we bring in someone like Mike Evans? And we missed the boat on that one.
Well, look, our in-state team, the Carolina Panthers, even though they lost Dowdle, they got better on defense. Picked up linebacker Devin Lloyd from the Jags, 3 years, $45 million. And then Jalen Phillips had a very solid year for Philly last year. He's finally healthy. This guy, really rough injury history. Had the concussion issues in college. Then he tears an Achilles. Then he tears an ACL. Finally played most of the season last year with Philly. His ability to generate pressure, he didn't always finish with sacks, but he can get after the quarterback. So Carolina trying to do something with the linebacker and edge rusher there.
Yeah, those are two studs that they got. And I read they only let up like 23 points a game last year. They already have a pretty good defense, so it's gonna really be up to Young to see what he could do.
Well, we talked too about the Raiders, investing in the offensive line. The Patriots did the same thing, bringing in Vera Tucker from the Jets, oft injured, unfortunately. But I really think when you have a talent like Drake May, these quarterbacks, you got to keep them upright. Look at Joe Burrow. You can surround him with all the toys that you want, right?
Look who he has to go against in the division now.
Exactly. But if you can't keep a guy upright, look how often Burrow's been injured.
Yeah.
You don't invest in that offensive line. It creates problems.
And Vera Tucker, he's a great player, but I don't know if he's played in more than 6 games ever in his NFL career. It's just brutal injury after brutal injury. And look,
it's a flyer.
Some guys are like this. Some guys, they paid him a bunch of money, but they're hoping for the best.
Well, I want to talk about this move too, because I think, offensive players tend to make the splash and get a lot of noise. I think one of the biggest pickups is what the Rams did out there trading for Trent McDuffie. One of the best corners in the league.
Yeah.
They go and get him from the Chiefs. They give up a pretty hefty haul, a first-rounder this year, a 5th and 6th rounder this year, and then a 3rd rounder next year. They already extended him 4 years, $124 million. The Rams really struggled in the secondary. They were that close to winning the Super Bowl last year, battling with the Seahawks.
That's huge. That's really going to bolster the secondary.
Absolutely.
That guy's a phenomenal
I got
player.
another defensive move, and this one goes out to Bracho Man's arch nemesis, Geriatric Jones. The Green Bay Packers must have some heavy dirt on Jerry Jones because he is just alleviating all the Packers' problems year after year now. He took Mike McCarthy as a head coach from him. Then he goes and hands him Micah Parsons. And he just goes and signs defensive end Rashawn Gary, who Green Bay, I think, was getting ready to just let him walk. And I think they may have gotten a draft pick. I'm not sure exactly what they got. But what does Green Bay have on Jerry Jones is what I want to know.
No telling with that guy. But look,
I wouldn't be surprised to see the Cowboys make a big splash trade or something. I don't think their offseason is done quite yet.
You never know with Jerry Jones. The problem, the guy is a loose cannon.
Yeah. Well, look, let's
we talk about quarterbacks.
I was just about to say, let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up with quarterbacks. Jimmy, where do you want to go?
Atlanta?
Tua.
Well, yeah, I mean, Tua to Atlanta. That is a head-scratching move to me. Unless, now it's only 1-year deal, but I am not sure what Atlanta's thinking. Maybe they have no faith in Michael Penix Jr.
I like Penix moving forward.
Has Atlanta? Yeah, except that he's torn his ACL. Like that's like his 4th or 5th. Let's just do a little timeline of Atlanta. They go and get aging Kirk Cousins post Achilles tear, right?
Yeah.
And give him a boatload of money.
So they get Kirk post Achilles tear to be their like franchise quarterback. Then in the same draft, they use the 1st round pick. It's not just that they took Penix. They took him way earlier than anyone thought he was going to go. So instead of trading back or being, he would have probably still been there in the 2nd round. They go and get him. Unfortunate, like Jimmy said, some guys just have bad injury luck, bad injury history. And now they're bringing in Tua, which is very interesting. The only thing you can think about is Stefanski, right? Came in from Cleveland to coach.
Yeah.
I heard Stefanski likes, and did this a lot in Cleveland, run like left-sided bootlegs, and he's done it for years with a right-handed quarterback. So I'm curious if that had anything to do with him wanting to bring Tua in as maybe a flyer this year.
Penix is left-handed too.
And listen, if Atlanta is one of those teams, I feel like that is like knocking on the door. If they can get the quarterback position, there's a lot of talent on both sides of the ball there.
The NFC South is anyone's game every single year.
Yeah.
I just saw that
true.
last year's division winner, which was Carolina.
Yeah, who knows?
They just released the over-unders for the NFL season. Last year's division winner in that division, their over-under when it first came out, 6.5.
Oh,
so like Brad said, anything can happen in the NFC South. But I want to talk too, we're speaking of Kirk Cousins. Could we possibly see a reuniting with him back in Minnesota? I hear Kyler, that's the number 1 landing spot. Do we really think I'm reading stuff where they're thinking this is going to be like a career rejuvenation for Kyler going to Minnesota? I don't see it with Kyler.
I'm waiting.
I thought his career would be rejuvenated, like stepping on the baseball diamond, and getting away from football.
Look, he's an athlete, but I'm just not sure that he could get it done. I haven't really seen. I think he led his team to the playoffs one time, got stomped out in the 1st round, and that's it. But I don't know. And it is interested. I'm very curious to see where Kyler ends up. I mean, someone's going to want a quarterback.
Yeah.
Who is it going to be? And I know, like you said, Minnesota does not like J.J. McCarthy, apparently.
I think they're ready to move on. And that's one I could actually see potentially making sense for Cousins. He knows the offense, great chemistry with Justin Jefferson. I'm sure Jefferson would be pumped to have Cousins back.
Yeah.
And so would fantasy owners. How about Daniel Jones grabbing that bag?
This guy just is making so much money in the NFL.
Grabbing it twice.
Yes.
He's trying to follow in the Kirk Cousins footsteps.
Yes, these quarterbacks haven't figured out now.
And then when it comes to pay year, he plays, like a Pro Bowl caliber player and then gets these big paychecks. But I can't hate on him. I mean, get that money.
Last one we got to touch on before we're going to move on to some March Madness, because I know Jimmy had some thoughts on this. He was pretty excited the Jets didn't go this route. Malik Willis ends up in Miami with the Dolphins.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't even get the hype. I mean, all off season, he was so high. Oh, who's he going? Here, there. I mean, what is the guy? He was terrible. The guy was terrible in the league when he got drafted by the Titans. Then he goes to the Packers. He plays a few games and plays good, and now he's worth all this money. I don't see it.
I think you got a lot of teams probably right now thinking, because it's not a great draft class for quarterbacks after Mendoza. So like anything, right? Teams follow trends. How many teams right now are going, we got to find the next Sam Darnold. We got to find.
Yeah. It was funny, before you even brought this up, I was going to bring up a point of all it takes is a backup quarterback to have come in for
couple good
6 games, win maybe 4 of them, win maybe 4, and then they could sign a bag the next year.
I know.
Somewhere.
It was nuts.
It's incredible. But yeah, the rate for quarterback play has just gotten out of control.
Yeah.
So we'll be bringing more football stuff to you as the NFL offseason unfolds. We've got some draft stuff coming up next month. But let's shift gears to March Madness. So what we decided to do for our top 5 this week is our top 5 NCAA tourney moments. So this could be interpreted creatively, right? There's a couple different ways we can go with this, whether it's buzzer beaters or teams making a run. We're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Brad, why don't you start us off with your number 5?
Number 5? All right, well, I went a little unconventional with my number 5 because sometimes a best moment for someone could be a worst moment for somebody else.
True.
My number 5 on March 16th, 2018, the University of Maryland, Baltimore County Retrievers.
We're in sync on this one, Brad.
They pulled off the near impossible and was the first number 16 seed in the current NCAA tournament to take off and beat a number 1 seed in the first round.
This is my number 5 as well. I have a combo pick with this one, but this is my number 5 too. That didn't just beat them.
Oh, humiliated.
74-54.
So they beat UVA Cavaliers.
Who did have the best defense in the country.
I picked the Cavaliers in my bracket this year to win it all because I mean, I think teams were averaging 50 points.
Yeah, they're
against
historically
them.
good on defense.
This was a team that had Kyle Guy, Ty Jerome, and DeAndre Hunter.
Yeah.
Stacked team.
Those Tony Bennett teams played defense. They were so tough on the defensive side of the floor.
Yep.
Yeah, prior to this game, Brad, 16 seeds against number 1s were 0 and
135.
Yeah.
Since the field expanded in 1985. But a little about the game, they were tied at halftime. Nobody ever saw that coming. UVA still was in the game.
This was the definition of a bracket buster.
Oh, man. Those Baltimore
so
County Retrievers outscored them 53-33 in that second half.
Crazy.
Yeah, you could just throw your bracket out after a win like that. When a 16-team wins,
Now, the star of this game, though, Jarius Lyles, dropped 28 points against that UVA D.
Yeah.
And just an impressive all-around performance.
Yeah.
And there's only been one other team now. It was Fairleigh Dickinson.
Beat Purdue.
A couple years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to put a little twist on this one, Brad. Me and you are on the same page. This was my number 5 with a caveat. So the caveat is, yes, in 2018, Virginia becomes the laughingstock of college basketball. This has never happened before, right?
Yep.
You know what I love about this story? I love this for Maryland, Baltimore County. I love this for Cinderella teams. I love this for small schools. You know what I love just as much? The very next year, UVA lacens them up and goes and wins the national title. Beats Texas Tech in the title game. So that was my combo, number 5, is the fact that, yes, a 16 beat a 1 finally, which is awesome to see. I love the craziness of March Madness.
Especially because the spread on this game, 20.5 points.
Oof.
And then the 16 goes and beats them by 20 points.
Yeah, crazy.
40-point swing.
Crazy. Jimmy, did you have anything else on that one, Brad?
No.
What'd you have as your number 5?
Speaking of, upsets, this team, I think I wrote the wrong. I think it's 2013, but Dunk City, Florida Gulf Coast Eagles.
I remember this one.
They're the first 15 seed ever to reach the Sweet 16.
That's incredible.
They earned the nickname Dunk City because these dudes came out.
Just throwing lobs.
They were not. They weren't scared of the big boys or anyone. They were just coming out lobs, alley-oops, dunking crazy dunks.
Great colored jerseys.
Highlight plays. They were viral the entire tournament that they were in it. But yeah, Andy Enfield was the coach of the team, and he became like the hottest coaching name out there after this run.
March Madness gets coaches the bag sometimes.
Same
All
thing.
you got to do is win like 1 or 2 games as a no-name school.
Yeah.
You're getting a top school coming and looking at you.
Yeah.
But yeah, seeing a 15 seed make it that far to the Sweet 16, and in the fashion that they did it,
that was the fun part.
It was great to watch them play. All of them.
We talked about him last week, but this was like a team of like mid-major small school Blake Griffins on that team. Everybody had hops. They threw so many lobs.
And I think they were surprising, like Georgetown, San Diego State. I think they were completely surprised when this team came out. It was just dunking all over, throwing alley, fast breaks. I mean, that was a good time.
All right, I'll give you guys my number 4 here. So we're going to go buzzer beater. We're going to go buzzer beater to win the national championship. It doesn't happen often, and anytime I can throw some shade at the Tar Heels, I'm going to do it. 2016. Do you have this as 4 also? All right, so I'll give just a second of it.
No, you go for it.
There's not much that I have written down here other than I love the fact that Carolina had their hearts broken, just like they broke. So 2016, Villanova's Chris Jenkins hits a buzzer beater to beat Carolina 77-74. This was an incredible basketball game. Back and forth the whole time. Moments before this, UNC's Marcus Page hit a clutch game-tying shot.
Clutch. He double clutched on this shot, too.
Carolina fans were all excited thinking this thing was going into
barely
OT.
any time.
And then Jenkins hits this dagger from deep. It's not often in sports that in the biggest of possible games, the championship game, whether it's the Super Bowl or the World Series, you get a walk-off moment like this. A touchdown with no time left,
This
a
was
Hail
only
Mary.
I think this was only the second one.
Yep.
We won't mention the other one yet.
Yeah. So this for me, number 4, Villanova knocking off Carolina with a buzzer beater in.
Yep.
Those were some fun Villanova teams.
Broke my heart.
Jay Wright had that program.
They were
nasty.
nasty.
For a minute. Yeah,
You just have a bench player show up for you.
I believe that was the year of Villanova's point guard. I'm pretty sure Archidiakono. He was awesome to watch play. Scrappy.
He was the Final Four most outstanding player.
Coach's dream fundamental point guards. Pass first, solid defense, could get you a bucket when you needed to. Just a leader out there. So, all right, Jimbo, what you got at number 4?
I'm going to go with another little run here. This is recent. This was 2018. Loyola Ramblers.
Okay.
All right. They were an 11 seed, the Ramblers. Shocked the country by reaching the Final Four. First 11 seed to go that far since 2006.
Was this the Sister Jean team?
Who's the star. Sister Jean Dolores Schmidt. She was, I believe,
rings a bell now.
98 years old. All right? 98-year-old team chaplain. She became like an icon for that team and a good luck charm. But I loved every time they played. She was out there. She was doing interviews. But, you know, they did make this run. The first game, they beat Miami on a last-second 3 to win by 2. Second game, they hit a shot with 3 seconds left to beat Tennessee by 2. Third game, they beat Nevada by 1 point. Elite Eight, they crushed Kansas State by 12. And then lost in the Final Four to Michigan, I believe. But yeah, this is a fun run by a team. And sister Jean Dolores Schmidt, if you're still out there, I'm thinking about you.
There's nothing quite like Cinderella runs in March Madness.
We're getting more and more of them now, especially with the NIL and player talent getting spread across the board now.
And with teams that don't stay together very long. The one and dones, like it's hard to build team chemistry when you're always having new faces in there. So of course you're going to have these guys who are on their 6th year, their COVID year, or whatever it might be. Brad, what you got for 3?
This one is just an iconic moment.
This usually doesn't happen.
This is the highest rated basketball game in history, college and pros. Estimated over 40 million viewers.
Yeah.
This set the tone for what the NCAA bracketology was about to become.
And for what 80s NBA basketball was about to become.
But this, yes.
All Lakers and Celtics back and forth.
But this set up for the tournament culture with viewers and all that this became a lifestyle for a month out of everybody's life.
Yeah. And also, how often do you get in an NCAA championship 2 all-time NBA?
Yeah.
I mean, 2, if you list your top 5 players in the NBA, those 2 are usually in it, but you never get that type of matchup in college where...
Exactly.
I was going to say, not to mention, this sparked the rivalry between Magic and Bird that lasted all of their NBA career. Magic got the best of them in this game, but
Bird was devastated by this loss after the game. Absolutely devastated.
So he went home and became a garbage man. So he iced his knees in beer, but Bird ended up getting the better of him in one of those NBA finals.
Yeah. Oh, a couple of them.
He only beat him in one.
They beat the Rockets one of the years and someone else the other year.
Yep. But yeah, Magic in this game finished 24 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. Bird, 19 points, 13 rebounds. Wish I could have been a fly on the wall in that gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. All we could do is go and try and watch video of it.
We said it last week. Those guys saved the NBA. The NBA had a serious issue in the 80s with guys on cocaine, the TV things. The finals were like tape delayed. So like if you were watching a finals game back then, you weren't even watching it live. You had to watch it tape delayed. Bird and Magic come along and take the league right up until the GOAT comes in.
Yeah, that Jordan. And the most impactful thing to happen to NCAA basketball.
Yeah, absolutely.
They set it off.
Absolutely. That was your 3 too, Jimmy? All right, so my number 3, I'm going with a run here. This was 2014, second lowest seed to ever win a national championship. This was 7 seed. Shabazz Napier took UConn to the national championship as a 7 seed. These guys lost 8 times in the regular season. Kevin Ollie was the coach at UConn. He had just taken over for Jim Calhoun. So this UConn team, in the Final Four, it was very impressive. They beat top-seeded Florida, knocked them out, and then go on to beat Kentucky in the championship. This was Napier's second national title. One of very few guys to win one as a freshman and a senior. And so, I'm going with just that whole tournament run in 2014.
Good way to bookend your college career. Start it out and end it with the champ.
All right, so I'll give my number 2. I'm taking it way back here. All right, 1966. We're going Texas Western over Kentucky for the national championship. This is the first time an all-black starting 5 won the national championship.
This is the first time a team didn't play 4 corners.
First time, and Kentucky was a segregated school at the time. So they go in, they beat Kentucky. There's a great movie about this called Glory Road. It goes into a little bit of the history, the coach that was there. But Texas Western, 1966, this team was inducted into the National Basketball Hall of Fame in 2007. This was an iconic moment in the civil rights movement.
Yeah.
This was a big one. So that's my number 2.
Yeah, want to go?
Brent might have this on here, but you got to get Christian Laettner in there. Even as a UNC fan, I mean, this this is one of the greatest shots probably ever in college basketball.
Is this your number one?
I went mostly with not shots, but like titles or moments.
Yeah.
After the last few
Well, I
episodes.
haven't put Duke in my last few things, but I had to put him in here.
Yeah.
But everyone remembers this. Kentucky winning 103-102, 2.1 seconds left. Grant Hill
Full court.
heaves it, full court pass. Leitner caught it, dribbled it once, turned around, hits the jumper to win. What else could you say?
This was a chippy game. This was a chippy game.
Yep.
And what I love about this is when you heard Leitner interviewed years later, he said he told Grant Hill, or he told Coach K, if he can get me the ball, I'll get a shot up.
Yeah.
And what he said is he knew he had 2.1 seconds. So he said he was trying to focus in. And like Jimmy said, you can see when he catches the ball, he takes a minute, he puts down the dribble, turns this way, hits the shot. I've said it multiple times. It's a perfect game for him.
Yeah.
10 of 10 from the field, 10 of 10 from the free throw line. Iceman, Leitner was known as a clutch
All
performer.
right, this isn't your number
Yeah.
2. Impressive stat, because this was a hell of a game, first of all.
One of the best games of all time.
Yes. Kentucky had to scratch back into this game. They started pressing full court, but both teams shot over 56% in this game.
Yeah.
Duke finished shooting 65.4% in this game. Wow. That's unheard of. But I'm gonna give Jimmy a little ammo for his next UNC Duke debate, because there was some controversy in this game. Early in the second half, I don't know exactly in the second half when it happened, but Christian Leitner.
Well, you got to say what happened before, though.
Sure. But he decides to step on the chest of, steps on his chest, gets teed up, and in today's soft game, he would have been ejected from the game. So you got a little more ammo. This shot should have never even happened.
I want more of that back, though. I want more intensity and chippiness.
We talked about it a few episodes ago. We want enforcers. We want a sideline ring, and they go at it for a minute or two.
My favorite moment is a part of this.
Okay.
Set us up here.
1983 Cardiac Pack.
Jimmy V.
Go Wolfpack. This was Sidney Lowe-led team, Thurl Bailey, Derek Wittenberg, and the famous Lorenzo Charles, the only other person to make a buzzer-beater game-winning shot in the NCAA championships. But
this was before they had the percentage of a second, too. This was when it just went by the number.
NC State, coached by a man who just made an incredible impact on college basketball, on cancer research, just an international superstar. The guy, he was the most outgoing, fun-loving person. I wish I could have gotten a chance to meet Jim Valvano. But let's talk about their road and what it took just to get to the finals this year. First, they had to win out the ACC championship, which they did.
Ralph Sampson.
They beat Ralph Sampson. And Ralph Sampson was he was the number one prospect.
He was the predecessor to Wemby. He was this huge at the time, 7'3".
But in the ACC championship, they had to beat number 8 UNC first, and then beat UVA was ranked number 4 at the time.
I love all these UNC losses we're talking about.
Where former head NC State coach Sidney Lowe, player at the time, was ACC tournament
most outstanding
MVP.
player. Yeah.
So second, they had to win 6 consecutive NCAA tournaments or tournament games to claim the title. First round, they defeat Pepperdine 69-67 in double overtime. Ooh. Hence the Cardiac Pack. Second round, they beat number 6 UNLV 71-70 in another nail-biter. Sweet 16, they finally get to coast a little bit with a 19-point win over Utah. Elite 8, another nail-biter versus UVA again, 63-62. Final Four, they beat Georgia 67-60. And then who's waiting for them in the finals?
Now, I believe that was a Dominique Wilkins Georgia team as well.
Yes.
I believe he was
who they had to go. Yeah. The list of names. and this is the most impressive.
Greatest
that fraternity down.
Greatest nickname in all of
Yep.
sports. Phi Slamma Jamma. That team, I mean, perfect.
Clyde Drexler, #1 draft pick over Jordan. And then we get Hakeem Olajuwon, just a beast down low. You wanna talk about your favorite moment here?
Well, obviously you had the air ball, like you mentioned.
They practice. They practice.
Yeah, Charles grabbed it in the air, dunked it at the buzzer. But my favorite part of this is Jim Valvano looking for someone to hug.
Yes, it's the best.
Just running around with his arms wide open, looking for someone to hug.
He looked like a lost kid.
And he's completely shocked. He doesn't even know what to do with himself.
Yeah.
But that clip makes me laugh every single time that I see it. I love it.
So good. Cardiac pack, and then you had, what Jimmy had is we got some terminology out of this. People talk all the time about survive in advance.
Yeah,
survive
that was his motto.
in advance, and that was the Pack's motto that year. And it was really fun watching them a few years ago, even though they knocked out Duke in that tournament with the two DJs making a similar run. Just a couple years ago, the big DJ, point guard DJ, when State went on that Final Four run. It was very reminiscent of this one. So I had a couple honorable mentions. I obviously had the Leitner shot, but I had MJ's game-winning shot as a freshman.
Set off his career.
Virginia Commonwealth going from the first four to the Final Four in 2011 was really, really impressive. And
then Shaka Smart, as the coach said.
Yes, yep. And then we had Tyus Edney going length of the floor, coast to coast, the year that UCLA won the title.
5 seconds.
It was in 95. Yeah, it was in the Sweet 16 game. But yeah, we're pumped for March Madness, obviously coming up. But we're going to shift gears again. We started with football. We went to basketball. We're going to go golf now. It's getting to be that time of year. We've got the unofficial major. They call this the 5th major in golf. The Players' Championship is held at TPC Sawgrass in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. It's a huge purse for this tournament, guys. $25 million. 4.5 goes to the winner.
No.
This is a par 72. 7,352 yard golf course known for the iconic 17th hole. It's an island green that even gets the best of the best nervous. This hole is known for devouring golf balls throughout the course of a year. They estimate somewhere between, this is when like regular people play it, like us hacks, between 50 and 100,000 golf balls.
It's only 137 yards.
It's a short one.
So I've read this before somewhere, but I saw if you played that hole, you have to hit the green, you get $100,000. If you miss the green, you go to jail for a year. Do you think you could hit the green?
He goes 6 under par the final 6 holes to force a playoff with Sergio Garcia and Kevin Kisner. So in the first aggregate playoff, Ricky birdied 17. He had birdied it at the end of regulation. He comes and birdies it again, knocks Sergio out of the playoff. So now it's just him and Kisner. They go back to 17 again. What does Ricky do? He sticks his tee shot 5 feet from the hole, drains another birdie, and goes on to win. I would say arguably this is the biggest win of Ricky Fowler's career. He hasn't found the major yet, but just a dominant, and when he eagled the par 5 down the stretch, truly incredible golf where you saw a guy just go flow state. He caught fire.
Let's stick with Ricky and go to DraftKings here. Plus 4,900
choice
to win.
Yeah, and top 10 him.
I like him kind of as like a top 25 because he's been playing hot.
He's coming off a good week.
He's made 5 starts this season. 4 of them, I think, are finish in the top 20s. His worst finish is tied for 28th. And he tied for 9th last week at Bay Hill.
Most people think this is either Rory's or Scotty's to win. We have to keep an eye on Rory.
Yes, we do.
He withdrew last week, only the 3rd time in his career with a back injury.
Back spasms,
But him and Scotty have won this thing the last 3 times. Rory won it last year. Scotty won it back-to-back in 23 and 24. Mm-hmm. Morikawa is the 3rd betting favorite on the list. But this one's anyone. I mean, this is...
Well, staying on Rory real quick, though, even if he does play and is healthy, him showing up late, he just got there. So his practice there has been limited. And this course this year is set up to be much more difficult than it has been in the past few years.
The rough, they say, is about an extra half-inch thick on this
course. It's a thicker rough, and then the greens are playing particularly hard.
And this doesn't favor power. It doesn't matter if you're a long hitter on this course, because it's all about precision.
Yeah.
If you're not on, then you're not going to play well on this course.
And keep an eye on Brooks Koepka. Back on the PGA Tour.
I'm a Koepka fan.
If it's just a regular tournament, Brooks tends to maybe not care, but he shows up for these big ones.
He wants to win this.
He hasn't played this one in about four years or so.
And he's not played well lately. Since the last major win, when he got hot again a few years ago, he's really struggled a little bit. So it's a big one for him. But I'm just excited. We got the Masters coming up next month. Golf is back. This is great for Sundays, lazy afternoon. Throw the Golf Channel on, maybe snooze off and on to it. You got some other stuff going on in the background. You guys have anything else to say about?
Yeah, I was going to throw a few DraftKings numbers out there.
Please do.
Because there's another guy who I like as my favorite to win, and it's because I've been keeping up a little with the PGL that Tiger Woods puts on, the indoor league. Super fun way to play golf and to watch golf because it's pretty fast paced.
Yeah.
They have shot clocks and stuff for taking their shots, but Siwoo Kim, he's on Tiger Woods' team in that league, and last week they were down like 4 points to the other team, and they have this thing called the hammer where they throw the flag, and it makes it automatically so that hole's worth 2 points. So Tiger picks, it's Siwoo Kim's turn to tee off, par 3, drains the hole in 1. Just puts a stamp on it. Wow. They tie it up, and then they end up throwing the hammer again, I think, the next hole, and end up winning. Yeah, so but if you get a chance, like, you spend an hour and watch it. You don't have to spend 4 hours watching the whole tournament.
Does it come on at night usually?
It's usually at night. I can't remember the time and everything, but
cool.
It's a great way to watch golf. Tiger did a great job reinventing the viewer, watching golf. But I like Siwoo Kim. He's at plus 2,300 to win here. We got Rory at plus 1,500, Morikawa plus 2,000, Schauffele, another one to keep an eye on, plus 3,100. Koepka and Fowler at plus 4,900. So like you said, that's a great steal for Koepka.
Take a flyer.
You never
on those
know.
two guys.
$10 on Koepka when you're $490.
Take a flyer on those two guys.
Now I got one parlay I've put into this tournament because it's starting tomorrow. This is
of course you did.
Ludwig Abers.
I think Oberg is gonna. He's like a sleeper pick that I have.
He's a great player.
So I've got a 3-leg parlay with him, Siwoo Kim, and Xander Schauffele, all to finish top 10, and that's coming in at plus 4,000.
Ooh,
all right. That's a nice, tasty little number right there.
You heard it here first.
All right,
put $100 on that parlay.
Awesome. All right, let's recap the weekend sports with our roundup. We got to start World Baseball Classic. Team USA, how are you losing to Italy?
I only had one sentence. USA lost and the coach is a moron. How do you not know that you're still in the tournament?
Isn't the coach Andy Pettit?
No, it's Staros.
But thought they had locked up.
Yeah, he thought they already locked up. And he was, I like the dude, but yeah, you can't let that happen.
Tough outing for Met McLean. 3 innings, 3 earned runs.
Yeah.
Not a good start. They went up 8-0 before the U.S. decided, hey, we got a game to play.
I don't know what happened.
Look, this is, before you get to your point there, Brad, this is rough. The U.S. is not guaranteed to the quarterfinals now. We got a game about to start in about 15 minutes between Mexico and Italy. If Italy wins, the U.S. gets in. If Mexico wins and scores, it's either 5 or 6 runs or more. If Mexico scores 5 or more, the U.S. is out. They were the betting favorite in the beginning. Now that things have shifted around, the Dominican is actually the betting favorite for this one.
Crazy.
They've always been my betting favorite.
It's crazy. Japan 4-0 on easily. We've got Dominican and Venezuela squaring off tonight. Both teams 3-0. That's going to be a fun one. But the U.S., if they don't get into the quarterfinals, this is a huge disappointment.
It would be like the dream team doesn't win.
So I actually have written down, how does the USA lose to Italy? And at the top of my list, it is because Italy's pitchers look like peak steroid Roger Clemens. They're all jacked. They look like the hitters in Ken Griffey Jr. baseball. I'm telling you, they look like world's strongest man competitors out there. And they're straight throwing cheese. But 6 runners left on base for the U.S. We out-hit them. We outpitched them. We had 5 more hits, 6 more total bases, 4 walks. That kills you.
Two huge errors.
Yep.
2 huge errors in this game.
And then Judge had the opportunity to tie it up.
Playoff Judge showed back up.
Yeah. But how about the play in the hole Bobby Witt made? I don't know if that was the Mexico game or was that the Italy game?
His play and the Manny Machado play.
Yeah.
Back to back?
Two Manny Machado plays.
Insane.
Yeah,
it's baseball at its finest. It's the world's greatest baseball
I think this will get bigger. It's the best of the world. So none of them talk like that. And it's very disappointing.
Francisco Cervelli's the manager, right?
Yeah.
But it's most of these people grew up in the U.S. and they just have like heritage from this country.
I wish it was the other way, but
there's some real interesting ways people get on some of these teams.
Yes.
Is all I'll say.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I have an interesting fact that you might like. So this is Czechia, or the Czech Republic. So there's a guy, a pitcher, Andrej Satoria. And this is a great video, actually. You find it maybe ESPN or someone posted it, but he threw 4.2 shutout innings versus Japan. Well, the guy's not a pro baseball player. He played in like some Czech leagues. He's a full-time electrician, this guy. He has to go home from the World Baseball Classic and go back to tying wires together.
Not only home, but to Czechia.
Yeah. So now he played on like for 4 different times on a U23 baseball team, but nothing really after that. But it is a really touching video if you actually could find it. Him just soaking it all in, and his final appearance in the World Baseball Classic, I think.
More touching stories. How about the 17-year-old high school pitcher?
Got Judge to ground out? Yeah, I think that
he got out of a jam.
I think Judge grounded out to third. Yeah, imagine going back to high school.
Yeah.
Saying I got Judge out.
I'd be wearing a shirt with my own like picture on it.
I wouldn't be going back to high school. I don't think he needs to. He's going to get signed. There's 11 and 12-year-olds getting signed now.
Yeah, so we got to see Team USA had some big basketball news this week. We're going to wrap it up these last couple things. First thing, Jason Tatum is back for my Boston Celtics, and not only back, playing 27 minutes a game. I thought, if anything, they're going to ease him back in. His recovery from this Achilles is unprecedented. He's averaging almost 20 points a game, just shaking off the rust. This makes Boston a legit title contender. They lost to the Spurs last night in a close game.
I didn't really get what I watched the highlight, but
back-to-back technical fouls. I guess they said there was some profanity towards the ref, but he was heated. You know, he wants to be treated like a superstar. And this year, he's put up the numbers to be treated like one.
They were the number 2 team in the East before Tatum even came back. So, I mean, they're going to be
Boston's a legit contender now. Staying in the NBA, staying in the East, Bam Adebayo.
Are you kidding?
Where you guys texted me this morning, I was like, wait a minute, what? Where did this come? 83? He is now behind Wilt Chamberlain, the second most points in an NBA basketball game. He dropped 83 last night on the Washington Wizards.
Yeah, when you shoot the ball 50 times, you better drop 83. He had 42 free throws he shot.
Which, that's ridiculous to me. I mean, there's no world that anyone lives in where you should be shooting 42 free throws in a game.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even understand how that happened, but look, I guess once you start scoring a certain amount, it's like they were up by 30 points.
Yeah.
Shooting free, they're not even trying to make it the rest of the teammates. They're throwing it off the rim, trying to get the rebound and give it to Bam to keep on scoring. But
that's Mark Gastineau said it best to Brett Favre. You don't lay down for records like this, okay? You do not lay down to give someone a record. Ever.
Man.
No, I mean, look, 83 points is 83 points. It's
wild.
Unreal.
Wild to see. And then we got some unfortunate injury news here. Well, I just have to mention, because I don't think we've met since last time, but Duke and Carolina happened to play again.
They did.
This one got ugly. Depending on who you're rooting for. I thought it was beautiful. Caleb Wilson out for the rest of the season, had thumb surgery.
Yeah, UNC is done.
They're cooked
without Caleb Wilson.
Big loss for Duke in this game. Their point guard, Foster, broke his foot. He's going to be out for the rest of the season. Foster was like the floor general of that team.
Yeah,
This is a
that
bigger
hurts.
loss, even though he didn't put up tons of points. But now we're going to see the Boozer combo. We're going to see more of the other Boozer.
Yeah.
The one
for
who,
better or for worse.
The one who was less blessed genetically, even though they're twins.
Are they? Isn't that crazy? That would suck to be twins, and your twin is like
That much
All-American NBA, maybe #1 pick, and you're might go to. I don't even know if you're going to make the NBA. But
Big difference, yeah. So, all right, that's it for today's show. Keep in tune next week. We are going to be doing our March Madness preview. We'll know who's in the tournament by then. We're going to be doing our top 5 Cinderella runs of all time. And then Jimmy's going to be hosting some March Madness trivia.
yeah.
Speaking of March Madness, we've got an awesome prize opportunity for you.
guys, right here.
Now, as a wonderful brother got me one of these for Christmas. And I'm telling you, I've been running through some Tecmo Super Bowl. I've won Super Bowls with Randall Cunningham, with Joe Montana, with Warren Moon. This game system has just about anything you can think of, from the regular Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, the Sega Genesis, much more. Ken Griffey Jr., NBA Jam, Blades of Steel, Tecmo.
Yep.
It's got all of the games. All you have to do, tell them what they got to do to have a chance at this.
The Instagram is the Sports Mixtape.
Follow us.
Get on
Please.
YouTube. We need you guys to sign up for this tournament. It's a free tournament, guys. We did say, look, we'd like for you to share our page. We'd like for you to follow and subscribe, and share the link with another friend. But get out there and just sign up.
So get in the bracket, AJ.
And this is the other thing. You have your chance, because I've never been beaten in a March Madness bracket before. So your chance is now to win.
All right, until next time.